Hello, good morning. I hope you're keeping well and safe and keeping yourselves entertained at home. Today's music theory video is going to be about transposing at the octave. So at grade 5 you're expected to transpose not only between clefs but also between clefs and up and down an octave as well. That sounds like quite a lot to think about, but don't worry, if we break it down, you'll find that it's really not that hard, and you will be able to do it with a bit of practice. So let's begin with a recap of all our 4 clefs. So I've got my trusty whiteboard again, as you can see. So let's start with the treble clef. So treble clef, known as the G clef, curls itself around a G. So on our second line, where we know a G sits when we're using treble clef, so we're going to start on our G line, we're going to curl around and up and back down through the middle with a little tail at the end. So we know that when we have a G in our treble clef, then it will be on this line here. And when we've indicated that by curling the treble clef around the G. The next clef down is alto clef. So it looks exactly like tenor clef, which we covered yesterday. So 2 parallel lines. And alto clef points towards middle C. So middle C in alto clef is on the middle line. So we're going to have our 2 semicircles pointing to the line where middle C is going to be. So next, tenor clef. So tenor clef is 1 line higher than alto clef, used by bassoons and cellos and trombones. So here is our middle C. So we're going to curl our 2 semicircles around there. And with bass clef, which is used by all our bass instruments, it looks a little bit like an F and points to the F, points to the line on which an F sits. So, like so. Here is our line where F sits, so we're going to have our 2 little dots either side, looking a little bit like an F if you sort of squint and look at it carefully. So I'm sure you can draw much prettier clefs than I can, so why not have a go at practicing those at home. So on the other side I've got a little musical excerpt. It is Haydn that we're going to be transposing today. So let's start by having a go in alto clef. So drawing our alto clef and remembering that we need to include every little detail from this piece of music to that. So we need to remember our F sharp. So here's C, D, E, F, which is found on the top space. Remembering our time signature. And remembering our performance direction. So we're transposing today down an octave. So our first note here is a G, the G above middle C. So let's find where our middle C is on our alto clef. That's right, it's in the middle line. And because we want to transpose it down an octave, we're not going to count upwards to find the G above middle C, we're going to count downwards. So here's our C, B, A, G. And this is where we find our G, 1 octave lower than the G that's up here. So after that you can see that our melody rises by a tone. So our melody in our alto clef will also rise up by a tone. And maybe you'd like to just double check your answer. You can do that by counting. This is an A above middle C, so we want an A below middle C. Here's middle C in alto clef, C, B, A. And you can see you've correctly transposed it down the octave. Fantastic. Next bar, B here. So here's middle C, so our B will be here. And then we go down a tone, up 2 tones, and then down one tone, and so on and so forth. So let's remember to put in a slur. So, excellent. So that's the alto clef. Let's have a go at the tenor clef. Here's our middle C. So remembering that we need an F sharp, C, B, A, G, F. So our G above middle C, but we're transposing it down an octave. So G above middle C, here's C, C, B, A, G. Up one tone. And let's just make sure that we're doing it correctly. So we've remembered that this is an A, so here's our middle C, and we're transposing it down an octave, so we're going down C, B, A. Yeah, so we've correctly transposed that note there. Righty ho, so I think you're getting the hang of this, so let's move on to bass clef. And let's find out time signature. Key signature. Performance direction. And again, G above middle C. Well, here's an F below middle C, so we know that a G is going to be in this space here. Let's not draw the stems backwards. And then one tone higher will lead us to this A here. Great. So when you have a practice at home, hopefully you will see that it's quite straightforward and you can do it just like I can. So have a good rest of your day and I will see you for another video soon.